And if I told you that there is a moment in the deep silence of the dawn where the whole universe seems to hold your breath, waiting for you? What if I revealed that Edgar Cayce, the greatest prophet of the last century, has not recorded that, exactly at 3:33 a.m., God moves mysteriously to touch the soul of a chosen one? Scorpio, you are not just a sign. You are a living seal, a spiritual code that carries truths that would dare to decipher. And when this sacred time is repeated before your eyes, it is no coincidence. It is a call, a sign, a reminder that invisible forces are aligned, preparing something that can change the course of your life. Edgar Cayce stated that each sign carries a role in the divine plane, but Scorpio, you have been shaped to face invisible battles, cure wounds that are not only yours, and cross portals that many do not even know exist. At 3:33 a.m., the veil between the physical and spiritual world becomes thinner, and it is at this moment that God acts, adjusting ways, arousing gifts, lighting the flame of his true mission. Have you woke up at this time, feeling you weren't alone? Have you ever felt that dense yet protective energy, as if something old and powerful were in your room? This is not the result of your imagination. It is a call. Number 3, repeated 3 times, is the symbol of divine perfection, of the covenant between body, mind, and spirit. And for Scorpio, he carries even more weight. It is the code of transformation, death, and spiritual rebirth. When God acts before waking you up, it is as if adjusting your spiritual coordinates so that you are ready for what is to come. Do not ignore this subtle touch, because each awakening at 3:33 is a direct message, a reminder that you do not walk alone. And if you are watching this video now, perhaps it is because the time has come to understand why you, Scorpio, were chosen to receive this call. So answer me in the comments. What was the most intense experience you ever lived when you wake up at this sacred time? I want to know if you have already felt this invisible strength acting in your life, because what I will reveal below will connect all the signs you have received and can forever change the way you see every dawn in which you awaken at 3:33. So before we follow, I need you to be part of this conversation. If you have lived something like this, if you have already opened your eyes in the silence of the dawn and saw on the clock exactly 3:33, right now, in the comments, I received the signal. It's not just a comment, it's a spiritual record, a seal that confirms that this message came to you at the right time. And the more people share their experiences, the more we will understand how this divine call manifests itself in the life of each Scorpio. Understanding what I will reveal you here is not entertainment. It is an awakening. It is about recognizing that there is a sacred alignment acting behind its story, even when everything seems chaotic. So pay attention to each word, because every detail can be the missing piece for you to understand your mission. And if this message has already started playing something inside you, it is essential that you leave your like now. This is not just to help the video reach more people, but to show the universe itself that you accept to continue receiving this kind of revelation. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because each new video will be like a new chapter of this spiritual journey. You will not want to lose the next revelation, because it will connect directly with what we will explore today. Then comments, leave the like, subscribe, and get ready, because what comes next will further deepen this mystery of the 3:33 that Edgar Cayce revealed about Scorpio. You already woke up in the middle of the morning with that strange feeling that the environment around you was loaded, as if something invisible was there, standing, watching you in silence. And then, when turning your face and looking at the clock, do you realize that it marks exactly 3:33? It's not any time. It's not a random number. This moment carries a spiritual signature that does not happen by chance, and is even more intense for those born under the sign of Scorpio. It is as if the universe itself had poked you, saying, "Wake up, chosen. It's time to hear." Imagine that while the whole world sleeps, spiritual forces are moving, organizing realities, aligning events, opening portals that are not available at any other time. Edgar Cayce, the prophet who deciphered truths that challenge even the most skeptical logic, revealed that there are moments of the day, or rather dawn, where the contact between the spiritual plane and the human becomes more direct. And for Scorpio, this moment is at 3:33. This time is not just symbolic, it is vibrational. Number 3, repeated 3 times, carries the energy of divine perfection, of the absolute balance between body, mind, and spirit. Now think to me, how many times have you woke up at this time and felt something different in the air? Perhaps a shiver that traveled his skin, a deep thought that emerged from nothing, an intense dream that was abruptly interrupted. Perhaps it has even felt the presence of someone not in the physical sense, but as an energy that filled the space. Scorpion, you are not a common one, and I don't say that to massage your ego, but because your essence has been shaped to be sensitive to these signs. Cayce claimed that the Scorpion soul carries a silent pact with the invisible. This means that each awakening at 3:33 a.m. can be an urgent message, spiritual training, or even a warning of imminent change. The question is, are you listening to these signs or are letting them go unnoticed? Because when God acts before waking up a Scorpio at this time, He is not just calling you for another ordinary day. He is inserting you into a preparation cycle, adjusting His internal forces to the battle that will still come. And you know that deep down, there has always been inside you that something bigger watches you, guides you, and at the same time tests your resistance. It is no coincidence that Scorpion is the sign of death and rebirth, diving in the shadows to bring light. This awakening at 3:33 a.m. is like a reminder. You were made to cross the darkness and come back with something that others can't carry. And at that moment, as much as your eyes are open to the physical world, it is your soul that is being awakened for higher realities. Some report listening to subtle sounds. Others say they feel as if they are being called by name, and there are those who simply feel observed by something impossible to explain. If you've been through this, you know it's not something you forget. It's a brand, a moment that lets you wonder, why with me? And it is precisely this question that keeps the bridge open between you and what will be revealed. Because the universe does not waste energy, and God does not awaken anyone at 3:33 to talk about banal things. He is planting seeds, and each time you wake up at this time, you are receiving another drop of this sacred code. And that is why understanding what is happening is so important. Not just to satisfy your curiosity, but because ignoring these signs can be like turning your back to a call you asked before you are born. Cayce said that the greatest loss of a human being is not to die without wealth, but to live without fulfilling the purpose to which he was sent. And if every 3:33 is a password of access to your destination, why would you not be paying attention? Now, I want you to remember, how many times has this time appeared to you? How many times did the number 3:33 appear on your cell phone? In signs, in dreams. This is not random. It is synchronicity. It is God using the same numbers to remind you that the plan is in progress. And the more you ignore, the more the call will be repeated, until you can't pretend you didn't realize it. So as we follow, I want you to carry this image in your mind. You, in the dark dawn, the watch shining 3:33, and a feeling that is impossible to put into words. Feel this, because from now on, we will deepen every detail of this mystery and unravel what Cayce knew about this sacred moment. And if it has woke up something inside you, if you are feeling that this message is for you, at the right time, I will ask you to leave in the comments a special phrase that will seal this connection. But keep this energy, because what comes next will open even more the portal that has started to form now, while you hear me. So before we go deeper into this mystery, I want you to understand how valuable it is to share your experience. It is not just about commenting to comment, but to let you record that you have already felt this presence, has lived this awakening. When you write your sign in the comments and report what happened, you are actually sending a confirmation to the universe and saying, I am here, I realize the call. This creates an invisible wire that connects everyone who goes through this same experience. It's not just about me talking and you listening. It is about us to build one stream of energy, where each story strengthens the other. And if you think your experience is not important, you are wrong. Each account is like a piece of a spiritual puzzle that, when united, reveals a much larger picture than we can imagine alone. When you write, something powerful happens. It's not only the algorithm you feel, but also the energies you are listening to now. It is as if by declaring I am Scorpion, or I already woke up at 3:33 a.m. and I felt something inexplicable, you were assuming their position within a chosen group. And this is essential because energy moves where there is recognition. Edgar Cayce believed that when a group of souls recognizes the same sign, this energy is multiplied, And that's why I insist, but not as pressure, that you record in the comments. It is not to inflate numbers. It is to activate something that only works when we share. You may have felt this need before, even without understanding. That desire to tell someone who dreamed of a strange place or woke up with the feeling that someone was beside his bed, even if there was no one there. Perhaps it felt the heart accelerate without reason, or realized that the room temperature suddenly changed. These experiences gain strength when they come out of your mind and turn into word, and here, in this space, you are safe to do that. I know many people are afraid of looking crazy or too imaginative when talking about these awakenings, but here, right now, you are among people they understand. People who know it is not coincidental to wake up at 3:33 a.m. repeatedly. People who feel at the bottom of the soul that there is something greater guiding every detail. That's why I want you to write words that convey this connection. It can be simple, such as, I already felt, I have received the signal, or even Scorpion awake. These phrases carry weight because they are not just letters, they are spiritual keys. And as you think about it, imagine that right now other people, perhaps from places you have never visited, are listening to these same words and remembering your own experiences. It is as if we all are in a silent room, but connected by a light that only lights up for those who have already been touched by this call. Scorpion, you are a sign that carries the depth of the waters and the fire of transformation. Each time you wake up at 3:33 a.m., it is as if you are diving deeper into your mission, even without consciously realizing it. I want you to realize that none of this is small. No detail is irrelevant. The time, the feeling, the dream that preceded the awakening, the emotion you felt, all this is part of a record that goes far beyond what we can measure. Cayce said that repeated, spiritual signs are like knocking on the door. In the beginning subtle, then firmer, and if we keep ignoring, they become impossible to ignore. You are about to understand what these beats mean, but first, it is vital to recognize that you have heard it too. I could simply continue telling what Cayce revealed, but that would not have the same impact if you didn't recognize yourself within this story. Because it is no use listening to Scorpio and 3:33 if deep down, you believe it is just another coincidence. You know it is not. Your body knows. Your soul knows. And when you write this, even in a nutshell, you are allowing more revelations to come to you. Now keep this. Every comment, every sharing, every I saw, I felt, this happened to me, creates a network that amplifies the energy of this message. Do not underestimate the power of it. So when you feel the moment, write. It can be, I received the signal, or 3:33 woke me up. Let this be your signature in this spiritual encounter. Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, had an unshakable conviction that each zodiac sign carries a sacred mission, a spiritual signature that does not dissolve over time or circumstances. But for him, Scorpio occupied a unique place, almost secret, within this cosmic map. He said that those born under this constellation carry within themselves the energy of collective transformation, an internal fire capable of moving not only their lives, but also influencing the fate of all who cross their way. It is no coincidence that Scorpio is associated with death and rebirth, with the ability to cross darkness to bring light. This is not just a beautiful metaphor, it is an energetic reality. According to Cayce, at 3:33 a.m., something unusual happens. It is as if the spiritual plane leaned over the physical plane, creating a temporary bridge, a light corridor that allows purer messages and energies to come to those who are ready to receive them. This ready does not refer to intellectual knowledge or specific practices, but to a state of soul. And Scorpion, with its intensity, sensitivity, and natural connection with the hidden, is one of the most approximation. Cayce believed that this moment is a kind of divine touch, an adjustment in the energy field that prepares the warrior for his next battle, whether internal or external. He described the energy of the 3:33 as a silent but powerful wave that crosses invisible barriers. It doesn't matter if you are sleeping, deeply or in light sleep. When she plays, something inside you RTA, even if your eyes are still closed. It is as if a voice without sound said, "The time is coming." And for Scorpio, this can manifest itself in many ways, from prophetic dreams to physical sensations such as goosebumps, sudden heat, or the impression that someone is in the room, watching silently. Cayce also said that this time was not chosen at random. Number 3, repeated 3 times, represents the sacred triad body, mind, and spirit in harmony, and at the same time is a call to align with the purpose that was traced even before birth. 3 times 3 also means multiplication of power, a kind of cosmic amplifier that intensifies the message received. When God acts before waking up a Scorpio at this time, it is not just to remember who he is, but to put it at the exact point where your energy will be needed. This perception gave Cayce an impressive clarity about the importance of what we call spiritual awakening. For him, waking up at 3:33 a.m. not a coincidence or a sleep disorder. It was a sign, a code, an invitation, a reminder that fate is not static, and that every night, in the silence of the dawn, there is a chance to receive new instructions. Scorpion, with its regeneration force and its ability to face what others avoid, is the perfect soldier for this type of mission. And you who are listening to me now may have lived it so many times that you have lost your bill. You may even have tried to ignore, turning on bed to go back to sleep thinking it was just a chance. But the truth is that the more you ignore, the more the call is repeated, the stronger it becomes. It is almost as if the universe itself said, "I won't give up waking you up." Cayce taught that resisting this call is like swimming against the current. You spend energy, get tired, but don't change the final destination. And there is a detail that few know. According to his readings, this time is not just to convey messages. It is also used to clean the energy field, remove negative influences, and reactivate gifts that were dormant. It is a subtle but real process, which is often why, upon waking at 3:33, you feel a mix of peace and restlessness. Peace, because something has been restored. Restlessness, because something has been activated, and you still don't know what it is. Perhaps this is why, in many ancient cultures, this period of dawn was known as the sacred time, or spirit time. Cayce only confirmed what was already recorded in the ancestral memory of humanity, that there is a time when the barrier between the worlds dissolves, and those who know how to hear can receive precious instructions. Scorpion, more than any other, is called to act from these instructions. It is as if your spiritual DNA is already programmed to understand the silent language of this time. And now I want you to think, how many times did this time come to you? How many times are not just on the clock, but in signs scattered throughout your day? Plates, phone numbers, receipts. 3:33, repeating yourself, like an echo of something you have not completely deciphered. Maybe you have never told you that to anyone, or maybe you have told it and not been taken seriously. But here, right now, you are in a space where every detail matters, where each experience is another proof that you are on the right track to understand what Cayce meant. At the right time, I will ask you to write in the comments a specific phrase that will serve as a seal, a way of showing that you recognize and accept this call. But for now, only keep in your mind the times when dawn has called you. Remember the sensation, the loaded silence, the weak light of the clock marking 3:33, and the strange certainty that you are not alone. The Scorpio soul is a territory that few dare explore, and even less can understand. It is made of deep layers, as if each life were a dive in the bottom of an endless ocean, where sunlight is hardly enough, but where there are treasures and secrets that can only be found by those who do not fear darkness. Scorpio does not live on the surface. He is called from birth to crossing the darkest and turning it into something sacred. This is why your intuition is so sharp. It is not just the ability to feel things. It is as if there is an invisible radar within you, able to realize what is hidden, what is not said, what others try to mask. When a Scorpio looks into someone's eyes, often, need not hear a word to understand what is going on inside. It is the silence that reads hearts. This perception may be uncomfortable for those who are observed, but it is one of the greatest gifts God has placed on you. And this gift is not free. It comes with a weight, feeling what others don't get, carry pain that is not yours, face battles that happen in invisible plans where not everyone is able to fight. The pain for you is never just pain. She is raw material. It is the fire that burns, but also forges. Scorpion is made to bear, and more than that, to be reborn from the ashes themselves. Each fall is a silent ritual of preparation for something larger. That's why, when Cayce talked about the energy of collective transformation, he cited Scorpio as one of the pillars. Because your fight is never just for you. Each time you face a moment of darkness and return to light, you are paving the way for others to do the same. And this is where the connection with the 333 becomes even deeper. This time does not come to wake you up on a whim. It comes as a sign that a battle is underway, and that you are being called to position yourself spiritually. Many of these battles have no physical shape, but you feel them in the body, in the heart, in the mind. Sometimes it is that pressure on the chest that has no medical explanation, or that dream so real that it leaves you with your body heavy when you wake up. Scorpion carries a kind of invisible sword. It is not made of metal, but of energy and purpose. It is with her that you cut ties that need to be broken, undo us who hold souls, break cycles that repeat generation after generation. This is divine mission. This is what makes you different, not just another sign in the zodiac. There is also something in your silence that is as powerful as any word. You know how to wait, you know how to observe, and this, in the spirit world, is a rare weapon, because many battles are overcome not in immediate action, but in the patience of who knows that each movement has its right time. And when you act, it is not on empty impulse, but because energy has asked, because God blew, because the sign was given. This depth makes you live an intense life. There is no middle ground for Scorpion. Either it is all or nothing, or dive from the head or not enter. And that, despite scaring some, is what makes you someone who truly transforms. Because when you surrender, you deliver yourself, and the spiritual plan recognizes it. You also have something that few have, the ability to regenerate what seemed lost. It can be a relationship, a dream, a piece of yourself that was left behind. You collect what's left, look at it with a look that mixes compassion and determination, and rebuilds. But it does not rebuild to return to what it was. Reconstructs to create something new, stronger, purer. This is the essence of Scorpio Renaissance. And when we talk about collective energy, we also talk about how your movement impacts others. You are like a stone thrown into the water. The waves you create don't stop in the first circle. They expand, playing places and people you can't even imagine. This is why the spiritual plane is concerned so much about awakening you, to align you, to ensure that you do not deviate from the way. Because what you do reverberate. Now imagine what it means for the universe to have a Scorpion awake at 3:33 a.m. It is like having a warning guardian, ready to receive instructions, to act, to intercede. It is a time when your invisible sword shines stronger, where your intuition is sharper, where your spirit is more connected to the source. It is in this state that you can see things that would go unnoticed at any time of the day. I know that while listening to this, you may be remembering times when you felt exactly this strength, this presence, this call. Maybe it was so subtle that you almost ignored. Maybe it was so intense that you still remembers in detail. And that's where I want you to understand. This is not just about feeling, it's about answering. And at the right time, I will ask you to record this answer in the comments, with words that will function as a seal between you and this call. In spiritual language, 3:33 is not just a random time on the display of a digital clock. It is a code, a portal, a point of intersection where the three fundamental dimensions of being, body, mind, and spirit, align with an accuracy almost impossible to happen by chance. And when this alignment manifests itself, it brings with it such a high vibration that it crosses the density of the physical world and arouses the conscience of those who are prepared to receive it. For Scorpio, this moment is not only special, it is sacred. It is called to comply with an oath made even before breathing for the first time, a silent pact sealed between his soul and the Creator, recorded on the invisible lines of his destiny. Number 3, repeated 3 times, is a spiritual multiplier. It represents divine perfection, the sacred trinity, the perfect balance between what is earthly and what is eternal. Once it is a symbol, twice is a reinforcement, but 3 times S is a call that cannot be ignored. It is as if the universe itself is saying, now, this is the moment. And for whom he was born under the constellation of Scorpio, this code resonates more intensely because it activates internal keys that do not open at any time. This is when you can receive revelations that change everything, perceptions that were blocked, clarity about decisions that once seemed nebulae. Scorpion is not a sign that lives superficially, and for this very reason, The 333 act as a reminder that there is something much greater happening behind the scenes of your life. It is as if, at this exact minute, the spiritual plane interrupts the common flow of events to deliver information that only you, with its depth and resistance, is able to carry. Cayce talked about this with the certainty of those who understood that every soul has a designated moment to receive direct instructions, and for you, this moment is precisely when everyone sleeps, when the world is quieter and receptive. Many who awaken at 3:33 describe similar sensations: a sudden heat in the body, goosebumps, a sudden consciousness that they are not alone in the room. Some feel like getting up, others close their eyes and perceive images or phrases arising in the mind as if they were projected elsewhere. This is not the kind of experience that is explained with logic, because it is not of the order of reason, it is of the order of the spirit. And when you understand the meaning of this time, you realize that it is much more than a strange phenomenon. It is a password to access dimensions that remain closed to most people. 3 is also the creation number. In spiritual symbolism, it represents the moment when an idea or energy manifests itself in the physical world. 3 times 3 means divine, scale creation, a multiplied impulse 9 times to materialize what is on the invisible plane. This means that each time you wake up at this time, there is a window of opportunity to bring to reality something that is being managed on the spiritual plane. And Scorpio, with its natural gift of transforming, is called to be the channel of this manifestation. It is no coincidence that many Scorpions report striking changes in their lives after periods when they often woke up at 3:33 a.m. It is as if each awakening was a piece of a mosaic that, when complete, revealed a new path, a new phase, a renewed mission. This does not mean that it is always easy or comfortable. Often what is revealed at this time brings challenges, because true transformation rarely happens without some degree of deconstruction. But that is precisely where your strength, your courage, and your reborn ability come into action. Most importantly, you don't see these experiences as isolated. The time is only the surface of the signal. What matters is what is happening underneath. Energy adjustments, reprogramming of your consciousness, preparation for events that are yet to come. Scorpio, you don't wake up at 3:33 a.m. just to receive. You wake up to act, to fulfill what you promised before you get here. This is why each time you open your eyes right now, you are, without realizing it, reaffirming your original oath. You may not consciously remember what you promised, but your soul remembers. And that's why this feeling of familiarity. I've been through it before, it's so strong. Each repetition is like a bell playing until you finally meet. And when you attend, you will realize that I was not dreaming. I was being called. And here I want you to start paying attention differently. Not only do you wake up at 3:33 a.m., but when you see this number elsewhere, in signs, accounts, at times that appear by chance, write down, register, because they form a pattern that will show you something much bigger. Ahead, I will ask you to write in the comments a specific phrase to seal this connection, something that will function as a public spiritual recognition of this call. But there is something that few people like to hear, and that Cayce did not fail to warn. This call, however divine and precious, is not infinite for those who insist on ignoring it. Awakening at 3:33 a.m., no matter how insistent as it may seem, is not an eternal sign that will knock on your door forever. There is a time, a cycle, a space in which angels insist, try, touch, whisper. But if the soul remains closed, if the heart is still hardened or distracted by the noise of the world, this presence begins to move away. It is not that God gives up from you, but it is as if the heavenly messengers would shut up, waiting for you to take the first step back. For Scorpio, this is even more serious, because the pain that once worked as a compass, that feeling that pushed you forward, that led you to seek meaning, which made you reborn, begins to become weight. Not a weight that teaches, but a weight that imprisons. It's like carrying a suitcase full of stones that are not yours, and yet refuses to drop it. The energy that once connected to the mission begins to distort itself, and what was a guide becomes an obstacle. When the Scorpion ignores the call, it is as if its spiritual sword, the one that cuts illusions and breaks chains, became packed for so long that it begins to rust. Intuition, which has always been, sharp as a blade, loses its clarity. The signs are no longer clear and become confused. And the silence, the silence that was once full of answers and revelations becomes a heavy void, where the questions echo unanswered. Cayce said that this is the most dangerous point, when the soul feels that it lost contact and begins to believe it never had it. The most painful is that this disconnection does not happen overnight. It comes slowly, like a fog that spreads and covering everything. One day, you wake up at 3:33 a.m. and decide to ignore. In the other, the time no longer appears, or appears in other contexts, but you do not notice. And gradually, what was once a living code will become a distant memory, something you tell as a strange phase of my life. But on the spiritual plane, this means that the channel, the direct line that existed between you and the messengers, is being set aside. Scorpio was born with a call that is not half-period. It is integral. It is constant. You are not just someone who feels more or perceives more. You are someone who has been chosen to act with these perceptions. Ignoring this is like denying your own identity, and in the spirit world, denying who you are is the fastest way to get lost. The pain that previously purified and propelled you will run the error, because it is no longer at the service of its evolution and begins to accumulate as stagnant energy. And here, there is something you need to understand. When angels shut up, it doesn't mean you're alone forever. It means that the next movement is yours. It's like they said, we already opened the door, but you need to cross. If you do not cross, the door remains open for a while, but eventually, to make sense, to keep it that way. Many people who have lived this loss of connection describe a feeling of existential emptiness, as if something had erased within them. They even try to fill with other things, relationships, work, distractions, but nothing seems to fit in. It is, because it is not external that is missing. It is the bond with the very essence that was left behind. And for a Scorpio, this is devastating, because its vital energy is deeply linked to the mission it carries. Cayce was emphatic in saying that spirituality is not an ornament of life, it is the structure. And in the case of Scorpio, it is the foundation on which everything is built. Without it, everything that rises is unstable. So when you begin to realize signs that you are moving away, when 333 disappears, when dreams become common and meaningless, when intuition goes out, this is the time to act. It is not time to expect something external to bring you back. It's time to remember who you are, to resume practices, to talk to the divine the way you know, but to speak. And I know that while you hear it, you may be remembering periods when you already felt this remoteness. Perhaps it has lasted days, months, or years. Maybe it's happening now. If so, know that there is still time, but it is not unlimited. At the right time, I will ask you to write in the comments a specific phrase that will function as a return call, as a public recognition that you are ready to reopen this door. It can be, I choose to listen, or resume my essence. Simple words, but they carry strength in the spirit world. For now, keep it in your heart. If you feel the signs are decreasing, don't ignore, because when God decides to act at 3:33 to touch you, it is because there is something urgent, necessary, and unrepeatable being prepared. And if you don't meet, another will have to do what it was for you. And nothing is more painful than seeing your own mission pass to other hands while you remain asleep. If this message entered your heart like something you already knew, but you needed to listen again, then understand that this is not a chance. You have not come here for simple curiosity or because the title caught your attention. If you are listening to me right now, it is because there was something waiting to be remembered inside you, something that may have been dormant for a long time. So now, I want you to do something that goes far beyond a simple comment. I want you to treat this act as a spiritual seal, as a public confirmation to yourself, for those who are going to read, and for the spiritual plan itself, that you heed this call. Right now in the comments, I accept my essence. It's not just a beautiful phrase, it's a commitment. You are saying, I know who I am, I know I have a mission, and I'm willing to hear it. Or, if you prefer, write, I carry this energy. These words have weight in the invisible. When you record them, they become part of a current that forms here, among all who heard and felt the same call. It is as if we were creating a circle, and each comment was a lighted candle, further illuminating this connection that, from now on, can intensify in your life. Do not underestimate what this represents. In the physical world, it only looks like text on the screen. But in the spirit world, it is a signature. It is your energy being put in motion, stating that you will no longer ignore the signs, which will be aware when the 3833 appears again, either at dawn or scattered in small synchronisms throughout your day. And if you've ever lived and you know what I'm saying, then don't hesitate. Record. Let the universe see that you are conscious, awake, and ready to receive more. And of course, if this content has touched something deep on you, leave your like now. This is not just for video to reach more people, although this is also important, but it is a gesture that energetically functions as a silent confirmation. You are saying, I received the message, and I want more people to receive too. This is how we make this chain grow, reaching other Scorpions, and even people from other signs, who also need to hear and remember who they are. I also want you to subscribe and activate the bell, not because it is a mechanical request, but because what we will continue to reveal here is part of a continuous journey. Each video is like a new page of this spiritual book that we are opening together. And if you lose a chapter, you can lose the connection of a detail that would complete your understanding. Remember, nothing is being said here is by chance. And I already leave the warning. In the next video, let's talk about what happens when Leo receives the divine call. It is a different but equally powerful energy that connects with everything we talk about today. I want you to be there to hear, because even if not a lion, you will understand how the pieces fit between the signs and how each one carries a part of the same plane. So now do what needs to be done. Comment, I accept my essence, or I carry this energy. Leave the like, subscribe, activate the bell, and if this message brought to your memory experiences you lived, share them also in the comments, because every account of yours may be the sign that someone else was waiting to finally awaken. If you got here until the end of this video, it is because this message really spoke to you, so I want it to be actively part of this current. First, subscribe now to the channel and activate the bell to continue receiving revelations like this. This will ensure that you do not lose any of the next chapters of this spiritual journey. Second, I want you to comment below the sentence, I heard the call. This will be our secret password, a code among us that shows that you not only watched until the end, but is also committed to what has been said. And of course, if this message has touched your heart, leave your like now. This helps video reach more people who also need to wake up. And lastly, don't stop here. The next video is already appearing on the screen on the left side. Click on it now and continue with me, because what comes next will further deepen what you just discovered.